Hello, everyone. Today, I want to actually read for the kids Casey's Adventure. This is a story that I wrote for the kids in my family, and I hope that your family enjoys it as much as mine does. And like I said, the story is Casey's Adventure. Casey's Adventure by Darla R. Williams. Casey the caterpillar has always lived in the leaves of a plant. He has spent his life climbing up and down along each branch, eating as much as he wants. So here is Casey on his little branch, eating as much of this leaf as he really wants. One morning, when Casey woke up, the sun was bright. As he looked around, he could see the forest bottom. Now there's a place I've never been before. I think it's time to go explore. So Casey ate a big meal of his favorite leaves, and he slowly climbed down the stalk of the plant that he lived in. Once Casey was on the ground, he looked up, and even further up. Wow, this is a really big place. It looks so exciting. I can't wait to see what's ahead in today's adventure. So here he is, down here at the bottom, going into his adventure. As Casey wandered around, he could see a spider spinning her web. She was working so hard. Her web was knit together perfectly. He could hear the birds chirping and singing their songs high above his head. "What beautiful sounds you hear in the forest," Casey said, as he continued itching along. Casey stopped to watch as the squirrels ran down the trees to the ground and dug holes to store the acorns. Then he heard a bee buzzing by. Zzz. Casey watched the bee as it stopped to pull nectar out of the flower. There's the birds high above his head. Here's the spider spinning her amazing web. The squirrels running down to dig holes in the ground. And the bee smelling and taking out the nectar. "This adventure is so much fun," he said as he continued on inch by inch. "I wonder what else I will see." Casey was so happy. He had decided to explore. "I think I'll keep going," Casey said to himself. As the day went by, Casey saw so many new things he became hungry and tired. He found a big leafy plant and climbed up and curled into a soft leaf. As you can see here, he curled up into the leaf of his plant and he fell fast asleep. Casey nibbled and nibbled until his belly was full. Then he fell fast asleep through the night. Casey dreamt of all the neat things he had seen and heard. So he saw the birds high above him in the tree. He saw the bee as it buzzed by him to go pull the nectar. And he found the squirrels as they were running down to go bury the acorns. He dreamt of all those amazing things. The next morning, Casey woke up to the sound that was not familiar to him or the forest. It was a strange sound. Casey thought he should find out what it was. What new things would he find today? Casey wondered if the sound was a bird or a bug. He would have to go look for it to find out. He looked out over the leaves and the branches of the plant that he had slept in, but he could not see anything other than the trees, the grass, the flowers, and the plants around him. So here he was, sliding on down to go and explore to find out what that unique new sound might be. Casey could not see what it was, but he could hear the soft sound somewhere out there. The sound went like this: dink, 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 diddle, diddle, dink, dink, diddle, diddle, dink. Over and over. It was all he could hear. So Casey slid off that plant, and away he went with a dink, 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 diddle, diddle, dink, diddle, diddle, dink. Once he was on his way towards the sounds, he came across an army of ants marching in rows. Some carried nuts and berries, while others had all kinds of plants. The ants were coming from different directions. They joined together to form a single long line to enter the doorway of the storage room in the ground. They moved fast like cars in the streets of a big city. Here's one row of them coming down from another, and Casey just comes along. And what does he find? When Casey inched up, here we are. We're going to the hole in the ground where they stored all of those plants. And when Casey inched up to the path they were on, the ants stopped and opened a clearing so he could pass through. If I wasn't so curious about those sounds I heard, I would stay here and watch these ants all day, Casey thought to himself. As Casey inched across the path, he thanked them for letting him cross. Now that Casey was past the ants, he could hear the sounds growing louder and louder. Casey then saw a black and orange and white butterfly fluttering by. He asked, "Do you know what that sound is?" "No, but I've heard it off and on all day," replied the butterfly. Casey then asked, "Can you see anything from up there?" Butterfly said, "Well, yes, I can. On the other side of the big tree. I can see something lying in the tall grass." "Oh, what is it?" "I don't know," said the butterfly as he fluttered off. Casey was filled with glee. Maybe that is where the sounds are coming from, he thought. Slowly, Casey inched his way through the grass and over the roots of the old oak tree. He came up to a rusted soup can. As Casey drew closer to the can, he could hear the sounds growing louder and louder. The sounds even began to echo from inside that can. So here he was, headed over the roots of the old oak tree and down through the grass blades. He's going to go find the rusted out can. Once Casey was in front of the open end of the can, he could see a snail with an instrument inside. The snail was picking the strings of a banjo. Diddle, diddle, dink, dink, diddle, 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 dink. Casey watched the snail in amazement. He had never seen a snail before, much less one who could play the banjo. And it says, diddle, diddle, dink, dink, diddle, 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 dink. After a few minutes went by, Casey decided he wanted to talk to the snail. He cleared his throat and hollered into the can, "Hello!" The snail stopped playing his banjo instantly and turned around to face Casey. "Hi, I'm Casey the caterpillar. Who are you?" "My name is Sammy." "Yep, Sammy the snail. That's my name." "So, Sammy, why are you playing your music in this can?" Casey asked. Sammy responded, "Oh, it's because my ma and pa call my music noise. They don't like it much. I come out here so it won't bother them. I spend hours just picking away. I love this here banjo. Plus, I really like the sound here in this old, rusted out can." So here they were, Casey down here at the entrance of the can with Sammy in there playing his little banjo. The dink, 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 diddle, diddle, dink. As they continued to speak while standing in the can, "Well, I like it too," Will you play some more? While I sit here and listen? Casey asked. Sure, replied Sammy the snail. As Sammy plays his banjo, Casey listened for hours, enjoying the sounds of every little dink and diddle. All of a sudden, Casey asked Sammy to stop so he could talk to him. Sammy did, because he was happy to have a new friend who liked his music. Casey then told Sammy, You know, I was thinking, while you play, I know some of them have heard you. They don't know what the sounds were, but they liked it. Maybe you could have a concert so everyone could come and listen to you play. Oh, yeah. Wonderful, exclaimed Sammy. I would really have fun doing that. Do you think they'll really like it? Casey just smiled and said, Yes, I think they would. You can practice and make up some songs while I go out over the next few days to tell everyone. They can come here in a week and listen to your music. How does that sound? Wow, my very own concert? I never thought that was possible. Do you really want to do all that work? Yes, Sammy, I do. I also think you should invite your mom and pa so they can see how many others like your music. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, Casey, I will practice, practice, practice while you are away. Casey headed off over the next week. Every bug and animal in the forest was getting excited about the big concert. Everyone traveled from near and far. Sammy told his ma and pa about the concert. They even came out to hear him play. When everyone had arrived, Sammy was frightened. He hadn't thought so many would show up. He was even surprised that his ma and pa had come. Now everyone was here, including Casey. Casey arranged everyone in a semicircle from smallest to biggest. The smallest animals sat up front and the bigger ones sat in the back. He wanted everyone to enjoy seeing and hearing his new friend play his banjo. When Casey inched up to Sammy's ma and pa, he led them to the center so they could see their son. While everyone was in place, Casey went up to Sammy, who was hiding in the rusty can near the old oak tree. So here's everyone in their semicircle around the rusted out can near the old oak tree. We got the animals in the back and the little bugs in the front. Okay, it's showtime. Time to open up so everyone can hear you play, Casey said. Sammy opened the door and asked Casey to come in. Casey slipped into the can. Wow, it looks great in here. I decorated when I wasn't practicing, replied Sammy. I'm scared, Sammy told Casey. Casey said, It's all right. I was scared and excited when I first climbed out of my home to begin my adventure, but I found you. So sometimes when we're scared, but we do what we're set out to do, great things happen. For me, I found you. Sammy, my new best friend. For you, a whole forest full of friends are waiting to hear you play. Thank you, Casey. Okay, I'm ready. Open up the can. So here he is on his stage. We're going to go ahead and look here. As the door opened, the crowd fell silent. Everyone hushed as Sammy began playing his first song. When they heard him playing, they recognized the sounds they had wondered about. They all began to cheer. When Sammy finished his concert, he took a big bow. The animals and Bug clapped and whistled and shouted for Sammy. And Sammy's mom and pa slid up to him to tell him how proud they were of him. This was all possible because of his friend Casey. He helped put it together. Thank you, Casey, for being my best friend. Sammy said as he hugged Casey. And thank you for joining me today for story time. Next time, we will be reading Sammy's Wish. Y'all have a great day. Hope you enjoyed story time. Rest well. Bye for now.